Hello everyone and welcome to the Lady in Black, Darlington, South Carolina. We are here at the Darlington Raceway for the 21st race of the AKG Cup Series Season number 5. Race 5 of the Chase. We've only got 4 races to go, including this one today. And it should be, it's one of the biggest races on the schedule. Crown Jewel events here on the schedule, and it's going to be a very interesting race. In previous years we've run this race at night, but this year we're racing it in the day, and it should provide an interesting dynamic as to how these guys will drive these cars, how they handle and all of that. It's a very unique racetrack. The turns 1 and 2 very different to turns 3 and 4, and so it does make things very different. It's one of the most unique tracks really on the schedule, and it should be very, very, very entertaining. It's going to be 92 laps of action around this 1.366 mile racetrack in Darlington, South Carolina. It should be very entertaining as we go to the points here coming into today's race with 4 races to go. After our last race at Watkins Glen, Simon Nichols comes into this race as the points leader, 15 points ahead of Alexander Rowe in the 51. Dawson Miller and Noah Clifton tie for 3rd in the points. They're 21 off the lead. Jake Rogers and Tristan Allen tied for 5th in points, 25 off the lead. Jack Porkins 30 off the lead. Richard Fridge 36 off the lead. And Benny Watson 39 off the lead. Those 9 drivers are all within a race of that championship lead. And our last winner, Julio Caesar, comes into this race 49 back. Dominic Anthony 53 back. Brandon Bent 65 back. Jamie Rose 66 back. Kean Rowley 79, and then Henrik Waugh 84 back, and Eli Brighton 89 back. So for those guys, outside the top 9 in points, it's a long way to go, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible, not mathematically impossible, but it is very, very difficult to come back in these next 4 races. I've just got to hope that something happens to the guys ahead of them in points to be able to make up that ground. As I said before, 92 laps of action. Should be very interesting to see how this race goes at the Darlington Raceway. And the starting lineup is rolling on the bottom of your screen, as per always, and it's Jack Porkins on the pole for the 4th time this year. Still yet to go to victory lane, looking to change that today. Brandon Bent on the outside of the front row. It's not been a good chase for him. He's still got a shot, looking to get that 3rd championship. Row 2, Henrik Waugh's been a dismal chase for him, and same can be said for Dominic Anthony. Both those guys, as mentioned before, on a race over back from the points lead. They start 2nd in row 2. Row 3, Noah Clifton, 21 back. He's had a hell of a season, leading the rookie season standings. And Tristan Allen, 25 back, still certainly in with a shot at the championship. Row 4, William Brock, the highest non-chaser in the field, and Alexander Rowe, as mentioned before, 2nd in the championship, looking to take that championship lead away today. Row 5, Eli Bright, last in terms of chase drivers in points, 16th in the standings, 89 back, and Jake Rogers, a 2-time winner for the previous winner, the last 2 Darlington races. Row 6, Julio Caesar, last winner in the series at Watkins Glen, and Renan Asif with an excellent qualifying run in the 88 Velocity Chevrolet. Row 7, Cody Smart in the number 2, made some off-season moves in the last week, and Simon Nichols in the number 3, points leader, starting from 14th. Row 8, Carter Friesen in the 46, another non-chaser in the top 15, and Kean Rowley's had a really rough stretch of the season, comes into this race 14th in points. His teammate, Dawson Miller, 3rd in the standings, 21 back, and Benny Watson in the 96 after what was a terrible first race is now 39 back within a race of the championship lead. Row 10, running out the top 20, got a couple of SoFlo racing cars, Akami Yassi and chase driver Richard Fridge, running out that top 20. He comes in this race 8th in the standings as the rest of the starting lineup rolls on the bottom of your screen, as per always. And this race in previous years has always been a wreckfest, and but I don't know if that's going to be the case this year. These guys aren't racing under the night, so we'll see. They might be calmer than last year. I don't know. They might be more crazy. We might see 10 cautions. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But it'll be interesting to see how these guys handle these cars. Of course, some of these are very different to previous years in terms of the new Camry, the new Dodge, and the new Chevrolet and all that. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys fare in this race, and particularly as it is a longer race. And down the back here, by the way, Jared Oren and Colin Denton crashed their cars in practice, and that is why they're at the back of the field. So that just for explanation there. And Sydney Curtis in the 44 for Melee Motorsports, first attempt, did not make the show, unfortunately. Race 21 to 24. Chase race 5 of 8, 92 laps. And there's your previous winners on the screen. Max Neweth, Gerard Oren, and Jake Rogers have won the last two. There's 2 previous winners in the field for this one. Pace cars on pit road. And Pawkins and Brandon Bent lead the field to green. And waiting. There we go. Green flags out. We are underway in the Southern 500. Down the front straightaway to complete the first lap. Jack Pawkins in the 71 and Henry Gordon the 72. They just got out to an absolute hell. They got a hell of a start over Brandon Bent. And Clifton, who was on the inside of Brandon Bent, couldn't hold on, and Brock now into the top 5 as well early on here. But the Gifford Technology racing cars have pulled away early. Eli Bright up at 6th. Jake Rogers, who's moved his way forward. Dominic Anthony's on the outside here of Julio Caesar, and sometimes the outside is the place to be off the turns some of the time, but most of the time you want to be on the inside. That's where all the grip is. And right on cue, Henry Gore gets around his teammate for the race lead, and you see how slow Pawkins was in turns 1 and 2. You do not want to be up top in turns 1 and 2 because you just have no grip up there, and you are going to fall back. You can kind of get away with it here in 3 and 4, as you see Clifton trying to get the inside of Pawkins. Brandon Bent gets to 2nd, but you see how Pawkins just got a little bit of a run-off. You can get away with it in 3 and 4, but you can't get away with it here. Heading off into turn 1, and William Brock's going to find out as he's shuffled back on that outside lane, as he might fall all the way to maybe even 10th potentially, as Cody Smart here on the inside as well. So Brock, who was 5th, has just lost 5 positions in 2 turns. So that's just an indication of how rough that outside lane is in terms of trying to make a pass. But Henry Gore's checked out a little bit already. As you see, Brandon Bent's got a lot of pressure from Pawkins here in the 71. Pawkins thinking about a move to the inside. He sticks it in there, tries to, as Bright slips up the racetrack and is going to fall back as well. So another example of a car just going a little too wide there, and it comes back to haunt them, and they might, Bright might fall outside, maybe even outside the top 10, depending on the way things go, as Brock is now on the inside as well. And side by side down the front straightaway. Back up to the second to third here. We've got the battle for the lead going on as these guys close in on Gore. But Brandon Bent in this 27. He's only had the 1 win this year at Talladega. Henry Gore winless. Henry Gore hasn't won in over 2 seasons. It has been a long, long time for him. Jack Pawkins hasn't won since Texas last year, so it's been a while for him. As you look down the order, Julio Caesar hit up to 7th. Had a good win last week. Eli Bright was able to hold on to a top 10, but under a lot of pressure here. We talked about some of these guys here. Anthony fell back earlier because of that outside lane, but it's interesting to see how some of these guys, we've got a battle here for 2nd. Bent on the inside of Pawkins, and the 71 looks like he'll get him here, although Bent's going to fight it on the outside. Drag race. Pawkins got it at the line, but Brandon Bent trying to fight back. Won't happen though, because Bent's going to get stuck up high and he's going to fall back. You have to get out of the gas, otherwise you're going to end up in that wall, and you don't want to end up in the wall, particularly at this stage in the race. I mean, it's only lap 8 of 92 as Julio Caesar, fresh off that win last week. It's the inside, but back to Bent. Only the 1 win at Talladega this year. It's been a rough year for him. It's probably been really the worst year of his career so far. Quite honestly, which goes to show how good he's actually been in his career. Toyota top 3, Noah Clifton's up to 3rd. He's had a great year. Jake Rogers, the winner of the last 2 Darlington races in seasons 3 and 4. He's dominated those races as well. So right now in 4th position. You should look down further down the order. How about Kobayashi up to 12th? He started from 19th, already moving his way through. He's actually got around Miller, which is surprising. Carter Friesen up to 14th in the 46. he had a decent start, but yes, he had a better one, obviously. Not as good as their other teammate Noah Clifton in third right now, as here goes to 71 on the back of his teammate Henry Guo, and into turns 3 and 4. No moves made. You've got to be really close here. And the tyres, the thing about Darlington, the tyres drop off big time. They really, here we go, as Clifton tries to drive it in on the inside of Porkins, won't be able to do so. But the tyres, they fall off a lot by the end of the run. So, we're expecting, I want to say, about 30-ish laps. So, per stint, of course, barring cautions, and it'll be interesting to see how these guys play. Rogers now looking to the inside of Henry Gore. Does he get? No, sorry, not Henry Gore. Noah Clifton. Apologies. Clifton's going to fall back on the outside, and Rogers moves his way up into the third position. Caesar and he's going to get around the 6 as well. So Clifton goes from third to 6th in a heartbeat, and he goes to the 27 as well, off into 3 and 4. For the 6th position, and it looks like Brandon as well. So Clifton's gone from 3rd to 7th in a heartbeat. They're in that SoFlo Racing Toyota. Porkins still behind the 72. 72 is doing a good job controlling this race so far. They kept it clean and green so far, which is good to see. Usually isn't the case here at Darlington. There's usually a few wrecks by this stage. At least one wreck by this stage. It's lap 13. They've done a very good job. But Henry Gore doing a very good job controlling this race. It's been a disastrous chase for him. He comes into the championship, into this race, 15th in the standings. It's been a really rough year for the 72 team, particularly the chase. He's only had the one. Was it one top? I think it's one top 5. I don't even remember where it came from. It was a 5th place. So leading this race, doing some good things for him. There's Dominic Anthony. Take a look at some of the fastest laps on the screen there for a minute. I didn't actually see them, unfortunately. But Anthony 11th. Dawson Mills got back around Yassi. So you look back down the order. There's Alexander Rowe right now in the 18th position. And Simon Nichols just outside the top 20. You got Watson back in there as well, and Kean Rowley. Those guys are 21st, 22nd, and 23rd respectively. So, for Watson, who was second last week, Rowley's had a terrible chase as well. But not the runs they were looking for. Rowley's, I don't know what's happened to the 10. It was very quick throughout a lot of the year and hasn't quite been so recently. Fridge is back down the order, and so is Jamie Rose. A couple of chases there. Fridge started from 20th, so that car's fallen back pretty hard, and Rose started a long way back down the order, down to 32nd. Now, Jared Oren, former winner of this race, he was in the wall with Colin Denton in practice in turns 3 and 4. Tore up their cars, and that's why they started at the back of the field. And frustrating for the 91 because that car was actually very quick in qualifying. So, bit of frustration down there for Rail Fan Motorsports. As here comes Porkins. He's going to try and take a look here in turns 1 and 2. Is he? He's not quite close enough, although Caesar gets to the inside of Tristan Allen. Is going to send the 14 back down the order. So, big move there. Brandon Benton is back up into the top 5. And that's another indication of how, that outside lane there at turn 1, in turns 1 and 2, and particularly turn 1, you just have no hope of doing anything. As just take a look here at Noah Clifton in 7th. Still holding on to a decent run. I'll tell you what, the 25s look pretty good this so far in this race. He won last week and he looks pretty strong today. He's already caught up to the back of Rogers. So in this first stint, of course, car looks pretty good, but the car might, we've seen times in which cars can get away from people as the race goes on. So will be interesting to see how it goes here for the 25, because that car looks pretty good so far as Gore continues to hold the lead. It is hard to pass in Darlington. It's notoriously hard for passing, and right as I say that, that was close. Porkins nearly got hit by Rogers as Rogers makes his way up to 2nd, and Porkins is going to fall back to maybe 5th. So here comes the 27 to the inside, and they're going to be side by side down at the back here. Heading off into turns 3 and 4. Porkins may be able to get the run off of turn 4 if he could just hang in here with the 27, which he will not. And Brandon Bent will move up to 4th position. So, I was going to say, if he can hold on with the 27, he might be able to get the position on that outside. Here we go. Clifton to the inside of Tristan. So, nice move by the 6. He moves up into 6th. And Rogers already falling back again as Brandon Bent's gone to the inside. So Brandon Bent now up into third. Caesar's got around up to second. So that's what happened. 25 is very strong when you get around a guy who's won the last 2 Darlington races and looked quite comfortable doing so from what I can imagine. As now Rogers fights back against his teammate Brandon Bent, ties it off into turns 1 and 2, and he's going to get him. He's going to bring along a couple of others as well, as Clifton and Porkins already got around the 27, but Clifton now to the inside. And Brandon Bent's going to clear on that outside. You see a little bit, you get a little bit of run later in, particularly later in the runs. You can actually get the outside off of 2 to work, but you still don't want to be there because you're going to lose a lot of ground in turn 1. These 2 guys have checked out, so while these guys were all battling on back for third, Henry Gore and Julius Caesar, they've pulled out a bit of a gap. It's 1 and a bit seconds from first to third, so it's nearly a second between second and third. So, you know, it's a big disadvantage if you do go side by side through here, and particularly if you're on that outside lane in turn 1, as you see Cody Smart, William Brock, Dominic Anthony inside the top 10 in the 39. New colours for Hill. Not new colours, but the first time he's running the Arctic Cats game. The chase. Dawson Miller comes into this race tied for third in the championship. As you see William Brock to the inside of Cody Smart. I was just about to say, Smart was having a pretty good run inside the top 10. He's just dropped to 10th, and he'll hold on to 10th, which is the good thing there. But I mean, it's still not a bad run for the 2. But anyways, yeah, Miller third in the points. You know, had a disastrous Dover. So we got a battle for the lead. Had a disastrous Dover, and you know, looking to just make up as many points as possible. Here we go for the lead. Julius Caesar did it with ease, and that's what happens when you get on that outside in turn 1. I don't care how strong your car is. If you get on the outside in turn 1, you are done for. And that's a good indication there as Caesar goes to the lead. Porkins all over the back here of Rogers into turns 3 and 4. And once again, it is a hard track to pass at. So, you know, not terribly unsurprising to see a lot of single file racing so far. And they've kept it clean and green for 25 laps, which is the biggest surprise of all. So, I don't know, maybe it is a day thing where they just calm down a little bit. Caesar's got the lead here in the 25, looking for back-to-back wins. And if he were to do that, it'd be the first time he's done that in his career. Prior to the season, Julio Caesar only had 2 career wins. He's got 3 this year and looking for a 4th. So he's had an excellent season. Even if the standings are... I mean, standings is 10th in the standings. But, you know, there's Miller all over the back of the 2. That's down to 10th. So it's interesting to see. Clifton was tied with Miller for the third in the championship. And as it stands right now, he'd certainly jump up to at least second. Maybe even the points lead. But granted, it's only lap 26. So... Keep that in mind. That's kind of the most important part to this whole thing. As you look down the order, there is the 51, by the way. He's down in what is that? 16th. So you know, still got some work to do. Nichols is up to 19th. Watson's up to 18th. So as you see, whoa. Now I'm not sure if the 2. I don't know, because it looked like he wasn't, and the 48 wasn't alongside. So I don't know. Maybe there's an issue with Cody Smart's car. If I don't know, I'm just guessing there, but. Interesting to see. Here goes Anthony trying to get to the inside of William Brock. Won't be able to do so. It's a battle for 8th position. William Brock, the highest chaser, non-chaser, in the field right now. So good run for him. And these guys continue to hold each other up. And well, that's all going on. The top 2 are just checking out on the rest of the field. And Gore's trying to get back here at this 25 and try and get back past for the lead. And we'll be coming to pit stops here relatively soon. We're on lap 28. We're about to complete lap 28 and head into 29. But pit stops usually happen around lap 30, so keep that in mind. As I think pit stops may come into play here in terms of who might win this race. It's such an important thing, even at this early stage. As you see, Anthony's now really falling off Brock. It's really... As you see, look back down the order. Addison Steinbach's having a good run. Smart, Yassi in the 20. You got the 51 of Rowe, who's just moved up another spot. And these guys might have to play pit strategy. As here we go. I think Steinbach, coming into pit road. So these guys will have to play strategy if they want to move their way forward for some of them. And certainly some of these guys are pitting based on trying to move their way up the field, including Porkins. I saw Brock, and I think it was Clifton as well. So none of the leaders have come down. We'll see if they come down this time. This is where they'd make the decision. There we go. So Caesar, Gore, Rogers, Bence, Allen, Miller, Bryce. Yassi's going to stay out. So 20. I tell you what, the 20's had a good start to this race. Car looks pretty decent so far. And most of the field is going to pit. So Yassi looks like he'll be the odd man out on this strategy, staying out a lap. And I can kind of see why because these tyres, they're so much slower. At the end of this run, Mitchell Collins has stayed out, Logan Williams as well. So, I mean, the tyres are so much older. You know, even one lap on fresh tyres is probably quicker than staying out longer. As Clifton has actually beaten out the 1 and the 71. So Porkins had a slow stop in all that. As you see, these guys finally coming down. Richard Fridge as well pitting. Stayed out another lap. So he's trying to make something happen in the SoFlo Toyota, as that's close. But Julio Caesar does win the race off of pit road. Henry Gore will be second still, and they're still relatively close together. So good pit stops by the 25 and the 72, although the 6 here might round them up on the outside. And it looks like come down a lap earlier has worked out for Clifton. He takes the lead, or the effective lead, as Brock has moved his way up as well. So it's an interesting strategy, to say the least. You know, coming down a lap earlier may work out in these guys' favours. And it would make sense, because again, 1 lap of fresh tyres is much better than staying out and having to deal with older tyres, as Brock has gotten around Henry Gore. So those tyres probably aren't up to temperature for Henry Gore, as he's just lost another position to Porkins as well. So 72 falling back early in the stint, and that's not exactly what you want. And Steinbach's moved his way up. Anthony in the 39. Steinbach, of course, came down a lap earlier. Rogers has fallen back. Allen has fallen back. And Brandon Bench is still back there as well. So it's an interesting field. But the field cycled through. So Clifton is officially the race leader from Caesar, William Brock, Jack Porkins, Henry Gore, Addison Steinbach's up to 6. What a run for Steinbach. He's only had, 3 top 10s the entire year? So something like that. So it's been a rough year for the 53 team as a whole. This is a good run for them. Steinbach, Anthony, Rogers, Allen, Bent, the top 10. And Diego Yepes, I think, is 11th, and he is. So, well, Yepes, they need a good run down there at HL Motorsports, at least in that camp, to stay in the top 35 in owner points, as the 48s drop back a little bit to 12th. Eli Bright, Christian Vargas, good run for Vargas. Great run for John Andrews. Those two guys there, both needing good runs. You've got Watson, Stapleton. Yassi stayed out longer and didn't lose too much ground, but still, we'd rather not. Now, there is the 51 of Alexander Rowe. You've got Kean Rowley back there. They're way down the order, 23rd and 24th. And I look further down the order. I do not see. There we go. Nichols is way down the order, 37th for Simon Nichols. So he must have had a really slow pit stop, because he was running around with Watson. So you see Fridge back there as well, the 21 of Denton. Those guys way down the order right now, and that is really bad news. And somehow William Brock's made his way to second, and we completely missed it, and he's going for the lead underneath the Noah Clifton. So William Brock looks like he may get it. Oh, as Clifton nearly got the wall, but he kept it together, and William Brock has taken the lead here in the number 1. Didn't really see that coming. He was second behind Caesar, so Caesar must have lost the position in all that. You got Porkins and Gorse on the top 5. So Caesar's going to go to the inside here at Clifton as well, I think, and he does, and there he goes. So Clifton, and again, the outside lane in turn 1 is just no man's land. You are just going to die out there, to be honest. You're just going to lose so much track position, and Clifton's going to fall back to 5th after being first not terribly long ago. So Gore moves his way up to 4th place, and now Caesar is going to try and get back at this number 1 car. He's not quite close enough to make a move into turns 1 and 2, but certainly would like to get around this 1 car. Porkins in 3rd still. He's still having a very good run so far. It comes into this race. As you take a look at the fastest lap, belongs to the 25, and you see Nichols. I mean, Richard Fridge back in there. He's way down the order, but he's got a pretty good race car, to be honest. He's just way down the order. Of course, he stayed out a bit longer. Colin Denton way down the order. Nichols we saw. I mean, man, some of these guys, cannot believe how far they've fallen. Rendon a sip in the 88 started 12th, and he's fallen all the way back as well. So, you know, funny to see how that all has shaped out there as William Brock has pulled away here from the 25 of the season. Hawkins now all over the back of him. So, not quite close enough to... Well, maybe he is close enough. We'll see here. Is he going to make a move into turn 1? He will not. Although Caesar drove... See, Caesar drove it in a little bit harder there in turns 1 and 2 and nearly got up into no man's land. And that's, again, that's not the place you want to be. But Porker's still all over the back of the 71. No, sorry, 71, the 25. My goodness, I made a few mistakes. I apologise about that. But keep moving. Lap 40. About to be in the books. And Brock, the leader, and... You know, he had a pretty good pit stop because he jumped Hawkins, he jumped into second behind Clifton. So, you know, it was a good pit stop by those guys. And look down the order, there's the 39 of Anthony behind Yepes, who's in the top 10. Desperately needed run for Yepes. Good day for Hedger Motorsports. One car leading the race, one car in 10th. So, you know, good day for them so far. And William Brock, in fairness, William Brock's run here very well in the past. Season 3, finished second to Jake Rogers. So, you know, and was pretty close to winning that thing as well. So, you know, it's not like this is unprecedented for William Brock to be having a strong car. Caesar might try and make a move here into turn 3 if he feels like he's close enough, which he doesn't. And looking to just continuing to hold on to second. These top 4 have run away. Clifton's fallen way back, so the 6 probably not in the right state of mind right now in terms of car speed. Then you got the 3 DW cars, then your pairs. Actually, Steinbach's actually fallen to 9th, so those guys have gotten around Steinbach pretty quickly, and they're going to set after Clifton. They all look pretty good right now, don't they? They're all 3 of them. They look very, very strong. Just running in perfect tandem, really, and we can try to march their way back up to the front of the field after they lost a bit of time on the leads. And Allen to the inside of Rogers. So Tristan Allen's going to get around the 98, and so is Brandon Metz. So there you go. Just as I said, they were working in tandem. Maybe that was deliberate. I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. But Allen moves his way up to 6th. As these guys continue to just work on the back of each other here. Just too spread out, to be honest, at the moment, to really challenge each other. And that's, I mean, they're all relatively even gaps heading off into turn 1 and 2, of course. Caesar, the highest running chaser right now in the field, running second. You know, if he can win this race, if particularly with Nichols way down in, well, what did we last check, 37th. You know, if he can win this race, Julio Caesar, he would be able to certainly... Like, he wouldn't overtake Nichols, but he'd be right back in championship contention. And to say he'd be right back in championship contention would be an understatement, really, because, you know, he'd really just gain on the guys ahead of him. It's Clifton. Clifton would probably take the points lead with everything playing out the way it is right now in that 6 car. Just consider that for a minute. A rookie leading the championship hasn't been done since season 2, since Brandon Bent probably, but... here we go. Might not hold the 5th position for long because Allen and Bent and Rogers are on the tear right now as he blocks the 14 a little bit. Still very early in the run to really be... I mean, we're at the midway point of the run, really, and surprising that here we go. Battle's on for the lead. Caesar's gone to the inside. And he's trying to get it here off of turn 4. Look at the run that Brock got, though, on the outside. He just blasted around the outside and held on to the lead. So, Caesar, that's the first time we've seen Caesar try and make a move on this 1 car. I'll tell you what, the 1's actually quite strong, you know, in this stint. And, you know, we saw it at Dover as well. That 1 car was very strong in the middle stint. So, something about the middle stint for William Brock. Car just comes alive as he leads. Yeah, and if William Brock, I mean, he's never won a cup race before. Right now, you know, of any kind, not even a non-points event. So, very good run for him right now. As you see, Caesar back under a lot of pressure from Pawkins. And Pawkins, I mean, he's 30 points back. Henry Gore, he's probably out of the championship fight, I think, to be honest. As here we go. Allen to the inside of Noah Clifton. And Allen is going to get past the 6th. So Allen moves up to 5th, although Clifton's going to hang on to 6th. Roger's trying to go to around the outside. That's a stupid move, to be quite honest with you. That's a ridiculous move to do. Just not going to work out. Pawkins has got around Caesar, and so has Gore. So the two Gifford cars have got around the 25 and have moved their way up to 2nd and 3rd. So not long ago, Caesar was challenging for the lead. Now he's fallen back to 4th in not much time at all. So it's a big move there for Pawkins. He feels like he's got a pretty good race car. They started on the pole. Only led the 2 laps in this race so far, but before the 72 got around him. So, you know, those 2 guys there, the 71 and the 72, they feel like they're pretty strong. But so is this guy. I tell you what, Allen is very, very strong. As Bent is going to get around the 6th. Finally, he moves up into, 6th position. But with Allen, that car is very... Clifton's going to come back here at Brandon Bent. Is he going to drive? He does. So Clifton gets back at Brandon Bent. Good move there. And Rogers is going to follow through. So got a pretty good run off the turn. Nice move by the 6. To be honest, didn't really see that coming. But, yeah, I mean, he is a very talented driver, Noah Clifton. We know that. These guys are just swarming on the back of each other. I mean, it's just crazy. Henry Gore feels like he's got a pretty good race car right now. So does Pawkins. Is just... I mean, because they're all just all over the back of each other, they just can't catch William Brock because they're just all fighting each other. That's the thing. Gore, he's got a pretty good run here. He might go to the inside, actually, and try and go for 2nd. He does. Oh, in the wall. Christian Vargas and the 51 of Alexander Rowe. The second man in points. Second in the championships in the wall. And Gore has got around the 71, and so has... And so Caesar's trying to get around as well. So Caesar gets up to 3rd. Pawkins way up out of the groove, and he's got right side damage. So something's happened to Pawkins because he's got... I think he's hit the wall as well, and Allen's closed in all this. So it's all going off here on lap 54. Pawkins car with a lot of right side damage. This would explain it. Oh, and that... Wow. So that's 3 Gifford cars all tangling with someone else, and Gore and Pawkins tangle with each other. Incredible. It's all going off there. There's the damage of the 51. He got massive damage here on the 43. And here's what happened. A similar kind of accident, except it was in turn 1. And I think Rowe just moved out too late. And into the wall. They kept it straight up. And Rowe actually hit the wall again. Off turn 2. So that is... I mean, that's incredible. 3 of the same cars have crashed at basically the same time. At different parts of the racetrack. That is incredible. And I don't think I can honestly say I've seen that very much. There's the 43. He was running around 20th place, and now he's going to fall back to 29th here because Jerry Ron's going to get around. That car is totaled. That car, front end, right side, I'm assuming. Also, right side, I'm assuming he's got damage, and it does. Left side, the rear of the car's got a bit of damage. That car's shot, to be honest. There's Richard Fridge here on the outside as well. I mean, he's not having a good run. He's just fallen to 34th because Nottingham Scott's just got around him. And Nichols is still down to 38th. Denton's still down to 39th. Nichols up to 37th, but he's not moved his way forward, and neither is the 21. So, incredible how that's all worked out. And Allen has closed in here. He's got around Pawkins. That 471's got so much damage on the right side. He's probably going to... I think Rogers here is going to get around this 71. It's just got so much right side damage. And Tyson Gifford will be pulling his hair out right now. As here goes Caesar to the inside for 2nd. And Gore is going to fall back to 4th. Allen's up to 3rd. And... Oh, man. That is unbelievable. And... Wow. I don't know what to say about that. Caesar up to 2nd. Allen to 3rd. As now Rogers is going to get around the 71 here. It's not going to be... He's not going to waste too much time. He's going to get around him right here. there he goes to the inside, and looks like he will get him, and he does. To the inside. Porkins just way up out of the race. They've got to bring that car in. That car is so slow now with the right side damage. They've got to repair it. Besides, you've got pit stops coming in a lap or two anyway. You might as well bite the bullet. And the 72 as well, potentially. And here we go. So Porkins is going to pit, so they listen to my advice. Good on them. But man, they cannot believe, and he'd be very angry with Henry Gore, because really, it was unnecessary, and it should not have happened. Clifton's pitting as well in the 6th, so yeah, he fell back a lot on that run. That car really struggled. Some more guys pitting, but not a huge amount as of right now. There's Vargas still flying. Man, he cannot catch a break, Christian Vargas. Anytime he runs decently, he has to get involved in something. As here we go. Some of these guys staying out. William Brock, Henry Gore pitting, and Gore in the 72. Probably is a man. That's going to be an interesting situation. But anyways, enough of that. Let's actually focus on the lead. Caesar, Allen, Rogers, and Brandon Bent, they all stayed out. You would think they'd pit this time. And I mean, this race has gone clean and green, to be honest. I mean, we've had that incident, but here we go. They are all going to pit. There's every chance this race goes green to the end. So, and these guys might not be able to make it, I reckon. Some of these guys might not be able to make it, and they'll be the early guys. So, I like the move here by Caesar and Allen and all these guys to stay out and make sure they've got fuel to the end of this race. You saw the 51 there with the right side damage, so you've got to repair that as well. Henry Gore has right side damage. Brock is done. He's going to head off pit road, and they are repairing the damage on the 72, and that's going to send him out of it. And he's actually going to fall behind Yepes, who was outside the top 10, I think. So that's a really rough blow for him. Brock is going to get out ahead of Clifton, so Brock's going to assume this race lead, barring something happening from the 25. And nice work there by Collins to make sure there was no contact on pit road. Or coming off of pit road for Brock and him trying to get on. That's how the Denton Oren crash happened in practice. Here we go. So these guys are done with their pit stops. So Caesar wins the race off of pit road. And we'll see where he comes out. He's not going to take the lead here. There goes Brock on the outside. Clifton's going to be second. It'll be interesting to see where Caesar comes out. Now, Brandon Nelson off of pit road as well. He's going to come back out of the racetrack. He's going to send Brock a little bit high up the racetrack. And that may open the door for Clifton off of turn 4. He's not able to do it. Brock is able to hold on and assume this race lead. And he does. So he's the leader now. They've cycled through. That was a big moment in this race. Brandon Nelson, lap car. Tail end of the lead lap. I thought he was going to help get the lead for Clifton. There's Caesar. There's Allen. Anthony's moved his way up to 5th. Then Addison Steinbach. Brandon Bent. He's in 7th. Yepes is in 8th. And then Rogers and Henry Gore rounds out the top 10. That's a tough break for Gore. And Rogers fell back a lot as well in his pit stop. Alexander Rowe is a lap down. And here we go. Battles on for the lead. Because here comes the 6 to the inside of William Brock. Oh, and Brock nearly got the wall off at 2. They keep it straight though, no damage done, and Clifton's going to take this race lead away. And Clifton gets it, so he clears Brock off the turn. And Noah Clifton takes this race lead, and a lot of that, I mean, Brandon Nelson, he's got to thank Brandon Nelson for it, because, to be honest, that's what brought Brock back to it. But Brock is going to get a good run off at turn 2. He might make a move here in turns 3 and 4. Is he going to look to the inside? He is not going to be able to. Clifton's going to shut the door. So Clifton looking for his second win of the year. William Brock looking for his first career win. And right now he's starting to regain and recompose himself. I think he was a little bit thrown off by the 50, but might be starting to regain his composure. And Brandon Nelson, he could certainly come into play later on in this race as well. We've still got a long, long way to go before this thing's said and done. But Clifton gets the lead away from Willie Brock, and looking now to hold on to it. It would be, I mean, with the way Nichols has run, as we'll see where he is. There's Richard Fridge, by the way. He is down in 33rd, and there's the 3. He's in 31st because he's going to get around Jack Halleck. But with the way Clifton's running, he might take the points lead. As Christian Vargas here in the 43, he's still got a lot of damage. They've tried to repair it as much as they can, but that car's still very much off the pace, particularly on the straightaway. Here we go. Clifton went high, and here goes Brock to the inside, and Brock is going to take the lead back. So Clifton went high. Because Brandon Nelson was on the inside of Vargas, he went behind Vargas and to the outside of Nelson, and Brock took the opportunity. So that's an error by Clifton for sure. It certainly cost him the lead. Goes without saying, it cost him a lot of time as well. So Brock reassumes the race lead. As you look back down the order, back to Nichols though. He's down in, 31st? Like, Clifton could take the points lead here. Seriously. He's second at the moment. Caesar and Allen are coming through as Vargas is going to continue to fall. But Rowe down the order as well. He's in 41st. I mean, there's every opportunity. Brandon Bett to the inside of Anthony. It looks like he'll get the position there, and he does off the turn. So Anthony falls back to 6th. But Clifton running second right now. Brock with a 1.1 second lead. He's got a pretty good gap right now, but he's got to try and hold on to it here. It's not impossible that they do run it down. He's trying to get to the inside of Brandon Nelson, but isn't able to do it. And Ryan Benjamin here is a lap down as well in the 36. But Clifton, he's second at the moment, and right now he could well take the points lead with the runs that Rowe and Nichols have had in this race. But in saying that, Tristan Allen in the 14 as Caesar working on the back of the 6. But Tristan Allen back there in the 14, he could take it as well, depending on the way. Because Clifton's tyres, I mean, they are older than the 14 and the 25. I think it won't be long before the 25 gets to the inside. If Clifton falls far enough back, Allen could well be the points leader. It's very funny how this is all working out in the end. March is 1.5, by the way, so they're just letting William Brock run away with it. And a lot of it comes down to it, because these guys are battling so hard. There is Brock. He's just relaxing right now. He's not even bothered by the lap cars around him. He's got Ryan Benjamin on him, but not really bothered by him right now. He's got 20 laps to go here at Darlington for looking for his first career win. But, with how much the 6, the 25, the 14 are kind of battling each other, they're just holding each other up and letting Brock pull away. It's now 1.64 seconds. So 25's got to make a move here if he wants to win this race. Brandon Bett's closing in here as well. So we'll see here in terms of... Because I can't... If Clifton can hold on to second from here, I'd be amazed. Quite honestly. Because that car has got older tyres. Car hasn't been handling as good as the guys he's racing. Strategy's really put him up in the position where he is. I'd be amazed if he could hold on from here. And besides, he might have to pit again, because I'm assuming... I mean, this race has gone 74... It's going to be, 74 laps. Here we go. Allen to the inside of Caesar for third. So Allen's not going to hang around here and just let the 6 hold up forever. They're going to be side by side. And Caesar is going to clear on that outside lane. So they continue to battle for third. Brandon Bett well and truly in the game as well now. That gives Clifton a bit of breathing space for the time being. But Allen's getting frustrated. He wants to see these guys. He wants to get around the 6. He wants to get around the 25. Because he's allowed Brandon Bett back into this thing as well. So they've got to make a move around the 6. He's clearly slower than these guys. Yeah, Caesar's got to make a move here sooner if he wants to win this race. The margin's 2 seconds. I mean, it's ridiculous, to be honest, that these guys... It's hard to pass, of course, but it is... Caesar hasn't really been that desperate, to be honest. And Anthony might close in here too. Here we go. So right on cue, Caesar goes to second. So right when I say he was aggressive enough, he goes to the inside and takes second away. Now, Clifton's going to try and fight back on the outside of Allen. And it looks like he will clear off at turn 4. So Clifton holds on to third place. And now Caesar could try and hunt down William Brock, whose lead is 2.3 seconds. Right now, he's got it made. And he's coming to 15 laps to go. He's got lap cars in front of him. He's got a lap car behind him in Ryan Benjamin. But right now, William Brock's got it made for his first career win. Now, Caesar, can he close in? That's the question with 15 laps to go. As Clifton, I mean, you can see how much slower he is compared to the 25. I mean, he's closed in about a tenth and a half on that lap alone, Julio Caesar. So he's going to give it all he's got. And Clifton here, his car is just not right there. He's just not there. It's just not as good as the guys he's racing. Allen and Bent, 4th and 5th, a couple of DW Fords. Allen might look to the inside here in turn 1, and he's going to dive it in there, and he does. He gets there, so Allen gets to 3rd. Brandon Bent to 4th, and Clifton's going to fall back maybe even further. Anthony's going to blow by him as well. So that strategy has not paid off for Clifton. He's going to be 6th here at the end of all this. Maybe even further, depending on how slow he is. So let's see here in terms of how this is going to go. So Brock in the 1. Hedgel and Alonso, the team owner, funnily enough, said after Dover, one day they will win. Right now they're leading the race with 13 to go. If he can, I mean, these guys are going to give it all they got. They might not have enough speed to get to Brock. Brock was very quick in the last stint. So it'll be interesting to see. Although Ryan Benjamin here in the 36, he is a lap down. He could certainly play into effect. If he makes a move to the inside, because his car looks stronger right now than Brock's car. If he makes a move, it certainly makes things interesting. And Allen here is closed in on the back of Caesar. So Allen now might be the one that makes the move here to the inside for 2nd. Well, he's looking. He looks to the inside. Caesar just shuts the door on the 14 and. You know, fair enough too. I get why the 25 is trying to do that. He's trying to get this race win as well. He's trying to hold on to 2nd if he can't catch Brock. So, you know, it makes sense that he'd do that. Brock's lead 1.85 seconds. Jack Halleck in the 16 is very slow as well. By the way, he's hit the wall somewhere. As Allen, once again, I mean these 3 guys here, they're just battling each other again and. I mean, in fairness, I can't say they're slowing each other up because they're certainly closing in on Willie and Brock. But they could. I mean, look at that. They gained nearly 4 tenths on that lap alone. So you can't say they're slowing. They're slowing each other down compared to Brock. So Brock's got to do a good job here to hold on to this win. He's got 10 laps to go. Benjamin thought about a move to the inside of the 1, but decided against it. Jack Halleck in the 16 as well. As I said before, he's hit the wall somewhere. Not sure where, but he might come into play as well. These guys are they're 3 tenths again. They're going to get to this 1 car, and they're going to certainly give it a fight here. And if Willie Brock, if he gets his first career win, 63rd start today, it would be something. It would be a great drive if he was able to hold on from here on in. As Caesar again covers the 14 of Tristan Allen. And if Allen feels like he's got a car that can get to Brock and win this thing, he's got to make an aggressive move. We talked about Caesar having to make an aggressive move. Allen might have to make an aggressive move. The margin's under a 2nd. So these guys are flying right now in comparison to Willie and Brock. Oh, Allen got a good run. There he goes to the inside. Is he there? He is there. He's on the inside of the 25. He's got the inside, and he gets the 25. So Allen moves to 2nd. And Brandon Beck unable to get by the 25. So Caesar holds on to 3rd. So Allen's going to try and challenge here for this race win. And if he does win, he'd take the points lead again. But Brock here has got to get around the 16. The margin's back out to over a 2nd. It won't be there for much longer. You can see Allen. He is on a tear. We're coming to 6 laps to go this time. There is plenty of time for Tristan Allen to take this win away from William Brock. Comes down 6 laps to go. Benjamin's going to have a big say as well. Because he's probably got a better car as well right now. Better more speed than the 1. Because he did come down a couple of laps later, I believe. So that would explain it. The margin's down to 0.6. I mean, Allen is going to get there. It's a matter of how aggressive. Tristan Allen's one of the most aggressive drivers in the field. No question. He's got to be. You see the right side damage on the 16, but Alan, he's there. He's there. He's going to make a move eventually. And Brock, I reckon, he gets to the inside of Halleck. Halleck slows up the 36 and the 14 as he tries to get out of the way. And that's the best news for William Brock. And I reckon spotter communication saw it quick. The 14 is flying right now. He's just caught up to the 36. Make that move to the inside of Jack Halleck. Coming to 4 laps to go this time. If Willie Brock can win this race, he will absolutely deserve it. He's led the most laps in this race. As now Halleck is holding up the 25. And now 25 is going to get to the inside. But if Brock can win this race, it would be well deserved. He's led the most laps in this race. He's had a brilliant car. They've played the strategy beautifully. He'd definitely deserve to win this race if he can hold on. But it's a matter of if he can hold on. He's got 3 laps to go. Alan's got to start making a move now. And I don't think Caesar or Ben's going to win. It's going to be one of the 14, unless they run out of fuel, which is a possibility. They've gone clean and green the entire race. The 30 lap stints, they could run out of fuel, and Brock was one of the earliest to pit, so he might run out of fuel. So who knows? Alan is certainly closing in though. He's not going to be able to make a move on Benjamin yet, but he could make one in turn 1 if he gets a good run off of turn 4. And then he can go after William Brock. Or Benjamin gets to the inside. Someone has pitted. I don't know who that is. That's John Andrews, Derek Hamill. So some guys further down the order. Halleck has pitted. Anthony's pitted, I think it was the 39. Yes, it was. And Clifton has pitted. Gore has pitted. So a lot of guys pitting here at the back end of this race. Porkins is pitting. Nichols was pitting. All these guys are pitting. Can William Brock make it back? Allen is all over the back of the 36. And William Brock's got to pray that the 36 does not go to the inside of him here. And that he doesn't run out of fuel. We got the white flag out. 1 lap to go. And William Brock, in his first full-time season since season 1, looking to win it. Allen trying to get to the inside of Benjamin. Unable to do so. Brandon Bent is closing in. He's got around Caesar for 3rd. Hamill coming off of pit road in the 19. Doesn't look like he'll be a factor for the battle for the win. Brock looking for his first win in his 63rd career start. Allen looking for his 2nd win of the year. Off of turn 4. He's got it, I think. The fuel holds out. William Brock does it at Darlington. He breaks through for his first career win. And Hairgel Motorsports are on the board for the first time this year. How about William Brock, who is the owner of this team from seasons 2, 3, and 4. He gets the win today. How about that? A long-time veteran breaks the drought. Congrats to him. Tristan Allen, Brandon Bent, 2nd and 3rd. Julio Caesar was 4th, and Jake Rogers ended up 5th. So incredible how it all worked out in the end. And Brock made it on fuel. He was one of the earliest guys to pit. He came in a lap before Anthony and Clifton, and we saw those guys pitted. And he's got to thank Ryan Benjamin, man. Benjamin could have made a move. And I reckon if Benjamin made a move to the inside of Brock, he was done. But he didn't, and Allen couldn't get around him. And William Brock unbelievably gets his first career win at the Darlington Raceway. Here are the final results. Look down the order. Dawson Miller ended up 6th. Benny Watson was 7th. Eli Bright. Zakomo Yassi. How about Yassi in 9th? And Arthur Xavier, man. Fitzroy Australia Racing. That's their first top 10 of the year. That is well deserved for Arthur Xavier. Well done to William Brock, of course, the winner as well. Jared Oren was 11th. Ken Rally will take 12th. And Richard Fridge will take 16th. All things considered. Those two guys didn't have the greatest of days, but the results, they won't care how they got those results. Richard Fridge, by the way, that's his 12th top 20 finish in a row. That is impressive. You look down the order, and what looked to be a good day for Gifford Technologies Racing. 25th and 27th, Anthony 27th, Rowe was 25th. I mean, for Rowe, it could have been a lot better. It could have been a lot worse, so he'll take that. And Clifton 29th as well, could have been a lot better for him. Henrik War 32nd. Addison Steinbach was up there for a while. He ended up 33rd. And then how about Nichols, Porkins, and Rose? 37th, 38th, and 39th. And Jack Porkins, he will be fuming, to be honest, with that result. And so will Henry War as well. Both those guys had the potential for the win, and then Vargas and Halleck both had their struggles throughout the day. They rendered out the fields. Here is the championship standings, and would you believe it? We have a tie for the championship lead. Miller finished 6th today. He now takes the championship lead, with Tristan Allen tied with him. Jake Rogers, Nichols falls to 4th, but he's still 10 points back, so you know, we frustrated with that. Rowe 5th, Watson, Clifton, Caesar, Fridge, and Jack Porkins. Rounding out the top 10, and then Brandon Bent now within a race. He was 65 back. He's now 41 back. So incredible how that's worked out for Brandon Bent. He's still got a shot at it, and then everyone else back in there. Anthony, Rowley, Brighton, Rose, and Gore pretty much out of it. And how about Brock, man? His first win moves up to 18th in the championship as a result. The second non-chaser to win this year. Mitchell Collins, 22nd in points, was the other one. Second one to win the chase, of course. And incredible how it's all worked out. Zakami Yassi, 23rd in the championship, so he had a good day at the office. And then you look down further down the order. Christian Vargas now 32nd in points. Diego Yepes. Man, it's been a rough year for those guys, particularly Vargas. He's been really unlucky for a lot of the season. Yepes was having a great run as well, and he fell back in at the rear of the field. All these guys back in here with really tough runs. We hope to see Sydney Curtis out there for Maley Motorsports next race. Thank you so much for watching the Southern 500 at the Darlington Raceway. Congratulations to William Brock and Handjar Motorsports. We'll see you guys next time for the first ever race at Nashville. See you then.